Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the long-awaited movie The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, Sasha Calle, Michael Keaton, and Ben Affleck. Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, so with the help from Batman, Supergirl, and young Barry Allen, forcing them to race for their lives in order to save the future. So, I've been waiting for this movie for about the last year, or whatever, however long it was meant to come out for. And I was like, I mainly want to see this because of Michael Keaton, because you guys know how much of a fan I am of those Batman movies, including the ones without Keaton, but the ones of that continuity. Because even though they're obviously filmmaking wise, they're not high standard, but I prefer them more than the Dark Knight trilogy. Even though that the Dark Knight trilogy is more better filmmaking than those movies. But I walked into the theatre with my dad, with my Flash popcorn tub and my Flash cup in my hand, going like, I feel like I want to love this movie. I think I am. And I actually did. I really, really love this movie. I think that there are bits where it kind of drags a little too long, but I think other than that, it was really, really good. And I think it was one of those things where it was like, it's not the best comic book movie in the world, but I think that I like it more than most people that I've seen review it. Because you have the camp that find it that it's really, really bad or really mid, and then there are people who love it. So I really, really liked the opening scene where basically you see most of that scene in the trailer where you had Barry Allen helping Alfred and Batman take down this robbery. And it felt like a fully connected universe, which DC was trying to do. But I think Muschietti accomplished that in that opening scene with Barry Allen helping, and you see on TV, we kind of expected him not to make a cameo, so it's not really much of a spoiler. But on a screen you see Henry Cavill's Superman, and you see elements of the Justice League. I'm not going to spoil it, I'm mainly going to do that on the podcast, but you see elements of the Justice League in there, and I really, really liked that. And I was so happy with that opening scene, and seeing Ben Affleck in his blue and grey Batman outfit, going around corners and zipping around and jumping from cars and all that was really, really cool. And I really loved that opening scene. So I was going to fall in love with the Batman stuff instantly. Even though that this movie is solely on The Flash. So let's move into that. The elephant in the room is Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is actually really, really good in this movie. I actually really liked him. He's really good at both the DCEU Barry Allen and the young Barry Allen that's in the which we kind of speculate this from the trailer, that's in the Keaton universe, right? So I think that he does a great job with both of those roles, and he has some of the best lines in the movie. But let's talk about the person that steals the movie, in my opinion, and is probably one of the best parts. Michael Keaton is back as Batman, you guys. Oh my god. I was grinning from ear to ear. At first, when they showed him, I was like, what? That's what he's doing? But when he actually turns into the Batman that we know from Batman 89, Batman Returns, that's when you're like, yes, let's do it. I'm really excited. So that was one of the things where it's just like, yes, let's do it. So, and when we hear from the trailer, when he throws those references to the old movies, and he's like,
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
I'm Batman. And all of that. It's so cool. Because, again, those original 4 Batman movies are what got me into movies and DC and Batman movies in general, right? So that's why I can't prefer them more than the Dark Knight trilogy, because it's like Heath Ledger is amazing as the Joker, but nothing almost comes to Jack Nicholson. He made his own and did that, but let's say that for another time. So, and then the thing is too is that, like, seeing him again, but with digital effects and like making him do more cool things and move ways that he couldn't move in 89 and 92 was just really cool to see. And there are a lot of scenes that Michael Keaton does in this movie that are on level of the Ben Affleck warehouse fight in Batman vs Superman, which is really cool. I just love that. I was like, oh my god, this is Pete Keaton with digital technology and modern filmmaking, as opposed to what Burton was doing with his movies, which is so cool. And making him kind of like Thomas Wayne, but with his Tim Burton Bruce Wayne character, was just so cool to me. And I loved how they actually got him back to be Batman, and that was so cool. And also, Sasha Calle as the DCEU Supergirl was another one who stole the show, in my opinion. I really liked her in this movie. I liked her more than I thought, because, as you guys know, my version of Supergirl is Melissa's version. I love her version of Supergirl, but I think that for what this movie is, I don't think that Melissa's version would work, especially the story that they're telling. So I get why they kind of recast her and made it Sasha's version of Supergirl, which I actually really liked her. I thought that she was really cool. So, and I think she was one of the best characters in the movie, even though I liked all the characters, but there were some that I'm like, kind of iffy on, but the ones I was iffy on, I still kind of like them. But the ones like Supergirl, Flash, Keaton's Batman, Affleck's Batman, and even some of the cameos, which we'll talk about in the podcast, I liked more than the kind of ones, you know. And let's just talk about the score for a second. The music in this movie is unbelievable. The main Flash theme is amazing, and then you have throughout the score you get hints of the Danny Elfman Batman theme, and then when you get to that, which we see in all the trailers, that desert fight, there's a certain moment in that fight where you hear the full theme, and I'm just like, oh my god, da 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 da. And I think that it was, earned to wait for that full theme to come in during that battle. I thought it was so cool. Now, this movie is going to be compared to Spider-Man No Way Home a lot for a lot of people, where they are bringing back these characters that we all know and love in No Way Home. Like, that movie brought back Toby and Andrew, but The Flash brings back Michael Keaton as Batman, and honestly, I prefer No Way Home. It's like a half a star better than this movie. I gave No Way Home 5 stars. I gave this one, well, I'll talk about this. I can't give you my rating anyway, but yeah, I think that this movie is one of those things where it's like, I am more of a Marvel fan and more of a Spider-Man fan than a DC and a Flash fan, but I do like Batman a lot. So getting references and seeing all these different, well, especially Keaton and Affleck, seeing those two in particular, the ones that have been shown in the trailer, was really, really cool to see. And I think it was one of those things too where it's like, because like the No Way Home was like centered around the past villains and the past Spider-Man with Tom Holland. Like, it's kind of what this is, but this one is like, there are scenes alone with Barry Allen, and he's not talking to a past character, which in No Way Home, they can't do that in the opening, and then the rest of the movie, as soon as Doc Ock comes in, every scene is with a villain or multiple villains or one or two Spider-Man. This movie is one of those things where it's like, Spider-Man No Way Home is on another level for me. But I think that if you are a DC fan, and you like the Batman stuff in this movie with Keaton and Affleck as Batman, and this person who was a Batman before, this person who was Batman before, but may have been cut in a specific scene. Let's just say that. Because if we saw the leaked photos of The Flash, it showed Supergirl and it showed Keaton in the leaked set photos. That's already been out there, so I can say that. If you're a big fan of Batman, you'll love this movie. And it delivers in that. It also delivers in Supergirl. And the way that Andy Muschietti made the Flash scenes feel like his version of the Flash, and making Keaton's Batman scenes and shots feel like scenes out of a Tim Burton Batman movie, and the way that he made Affleck's Batman and Zod and even Supergirl to some extent feel like Zack Snyder shots, was just so cool. The multiversal, I think I've seen this term be thrown around, the multiversal of directors feel that Andy Muschietti did was really, really cool. And it felt like Snyder and Muschietti and Burton all in the one movie. It felt like Andy Muschietti was like, okay, Tim, direct your Batman scenes. Snyder, direct your Batman, Zod, and Supergirl scenes. And I'll shoot my Flash scenes and the other stuff involved for this movie. That's what it feels like, which is crazy to think about. I feel like I need to give The Flash 4.5 out of 5 stars. You can separate the art from the artist. Okay, Ezra Miller. And if you like or love Batman 1989 and Batman Returns and the Snyderverse, then I think that you'll love this movie. But if you can't separate the art from the artist, Ezra Miller, I don't think that you'll be liking this movie very much if you don't do that. But I will say the only complaint about this movie that I didn't mention before was the CGI. The CGI looked awful, especially in one part, but we'll talk about that on the podcast with Dad. So guys, please hit the like button down below if you haven't already. Hit subscribe. Also hit the little bell icon to get notified future videos that I make. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.